Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Chris and today we're doing a sit down video and we're going to talk herbs and flowers. I'm going to go through the herbs and the flowers that I am planning to plant this year. These are going to be both culinary herbs and medicinal herbs. And in all honesty, a lot of the culinary herbs are also medicinal herbs. So you kind of get 2-for-1 deal with them. I'm going to start with the flowers because these are, I have the fewest of these, of just flowers that serve no other purpose than just to be pretty in my yard. For the most part. So I have a couple of different types of zinnias here. I have the envy, the green envy, and a candy cane mix. I might decide to get more zinnias. I haven't fully made that decision, but for now I'm definitely going to grow these two. I'm going to grow a couple of different types of sunflowers. I have the red sun, the evening sun, and chocolate cherry. So I found another zinnia mix I'm also going to add in here, the Pumila mixed colors, just so we can have a nice variety. And I'm also going to add in the Orange Prince sunflower. So it'll be a nice contrast to the deep chocolates and the reds of these colors. And I thought I had some yellow sunflower seeds as well. I think it was lemon sunflower, I'm going to say was the name of it, but I couldn't find them. But I'll continue to look for them because I would like to add those in as well. I have a few different types of poppies. I have the Ladybird, Amazing Gray, and the Florist Pepper Box. And then I have this wildflower mix that I picked up on a whim last year, but I didn't get it planted. And this says Shirley Poppy, that is mixed colors. So we're gonna give that a try and try to sprinkle that in as well. I have a mixed color hollyhock. I love hollyhocks, they're absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna try to grow some of these. And along with that, I'm actually going to grow some marshmallow too. These are actually from the same family. They both have medicinal properties. If you want me to go through the medicinal properties of some of these herbs, let me know in the comments, but I'm not going to go through them in this video. But both of these can be used interchangeably because they're from the same family. The hollyhock will have the big, beautiful flowers. The marshmallow will have much smaller flowers, but I think mixed together, they're going to be gorgeous. I have some alyssum, some gold dust alyssum. I've seen the white alyssum quite a bit. I can pick that up in pretty much any big box or nursery store, but I don't see gold very often. So I bought these seeds last year and we're going to give them a try. Also with the poppies, I have these California poppies, just an orange poppy. It's also medicinal. And then getting into our medicinal seeds and flowers, I have two different types of calendula. The Calendula racina is your basic orange calendula that you see everywhere, and then this is the pink sunrise. They both have medicinal properties, but I really liked the idea of having slightly different colors. We're going to grow both of those. I planted mullein 2 years ago, back in 2021, and they did great. I really only need 1 or 2 plants. I have one plant out there that last year was its first year, and this is a biennial plant, which means that it has a 2-year life cycle. So that plant that's out there should flower and produce seed this year. So I'm going to probably start only 1 or 2, probably just one of these because I don't need very many. it will be ready to go next year in next year's garden. It'll be ready for harvest. So I like to stagger these and plant, you know, about one per year. That way, every single year I have a harvest of mullein. I have two different types of echinacea. I have the typical Echinacea purpurea. This is the echinacea you see pretty much everywhere. And then I have this Echinacea pallida. They both have the same medicinal properties. They just have a slightly different look. And when you're building a flower bed, color is typically a good thing. At least I love having a bunch of colors, so. Feverfew I planted a couple years ago, and it did not die. It came back last year, but I want to plant some more. This is really pretty. I have one plant right along the border in my front yard. I have a little bit of a retaining wall. I'll show you in another video. But I have this right along the border, and I think it looks lovely. So I want to put a couple more plants out there. Yarrow is something that is extremely useful as far as its medicinal qualities, and it's a beautiful flower. So I had yarrow growing around a tree in the parking strip right in front of my house for several years, but last year it was so dry that it didn't even grow. I had a very small amount of plants pop up that were no more than 4 or 5 inches, and then they all died because it got too dry. And it just wasn't in a good place that I could get out and water it very easily, because it's a little bit of a stretch for my hose to get to it. So, and then this past fall, the city came and cut down that tree. So along with that, it's going to kill all of my yarrow, because they're going to come. They cut down the tree, that's gone now, but they'll come back and they will grind up that stump that all of my yarrow is planted around. And when they grind up that stump, it'll kill every single plant that I already have there. So we're going to redo this in a different spot and hope for a lot better success, because yarrow is something that you definitely want to have on hand. Valerian is also something that is really, really useful as far as its medicinal qualities. It's also really pretty, and it gets really tall. It has these lovely pink flowers. So we're going to add some of that to our garden this year. I'm going to do a little container of purslane. Purslane has lovely medicinal qualities. It's also really rich in vitamins and minerals, omega-3 fatty acids, and it's delicious. If you add it to salads or things like that, it's absolutely delicious. So we're going to add some of that. I know a lot of you probably cringe at that, thinking that you have purslane that pops up everywhere, and it is a voracious weed. I feel for you if you have that, but I don't. I don't have any purslane that pops up on its own, so if I want it, I have to plant it myself. Unfortunately, a good portion of my weeds are not medicinal. They are toxic, because I battle buttercup. It's called buttercup. You'll be seeing that plenty. I'll probably be cursing it quite a bit, because I do that every year. It just is voracious. Comfrey is another one that I want to put in my garden. This is also going to be a container flower, because they tend to take over if you don't put them in a container. So I don't want that. I don't actually want any particular plant to fully take over my space. So anything that has a risk of that is going to go in a container. Comfrey is one of them. Any kind of mint is also one of them. So I will have peppermint, definitely some peppermint out there. I have some lemon balm. It is not in a container, but it is in a contained space, so I don't have to worry about it spreading throughout the entire yard. Chicory, I have a couple of plants of chicory out in my front yard already. I'm going to add a few more. They have beautiful, lovely blue flowers when it blooms, and the root of this is very good for you, very medicinal. Elecampane is another one that the root is really has a lot of medicinal values, has beautiful yellow flowers. I do not have any of this in my yard yet, but we're gonna try to add some this year. Hopefully they do well. Skullcap, hyssop, and blue vervain are all lovely flowers we're gonna try to add to our yard this year. Blue vervain, I'm not positive is gonna succeed because they do like to have moist soil. You find them a lot near like creeks and rivers. So I don't know if it's going to thrive in my yard, but we're going to give it a shot. Skullcap, we'll see how this does. I had a hard time getting this to germinate the last time I tried to grow it, so we're going to give it a try again and see if it does any better. And then hyssop, I had a couple of plants out there already from 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago I planted hyssop, and it just got so dry that they died. Last but not least is stevia. I kind of have a hit and miss with stevia. I've had it do really well and I've had it not do so well. So we're gonna give it a try this year and see how it does. And a lot of my medicinal seeds I get from Strictly Medicinal Seeds. They're based out of Oregon, so they're local to my area, to the Pacific Northwest, and they have a really amazing selection of medicinal plants. They're a great resource if you're interested in this. I highly recommend you check them out. I don't get all of my seeds from them for my medicinal plants, but I would say I get probably 90% of them from Strictly Medicinal Seeds. Now on to the culinary herbs. I have two different types of cilantro. I have just a regular cilantro and a slow bolt cilantro I'm going to try this year. The cilantro I grow every year, and it does really great until it starts to heat up a little bit. It gets to about 70 degrees and the cilantro is like, I've had it, I'm done. That's where the slow bolt comes in. I'm hoping that by having the two of these together, I can extend my cilantro harvest in the spring and then maybe start it just a tad bit earlier in the fall than I usually am able to do. This Calypso cilantro is also supposed to be slower to bolt. We love cilantro, we use quite a bit of it, so I made sure to get hopefully enough that will carry us through the spring and the fall plantings of cilantro. Oh, this should have been in my medicinal herbs. This is catnip. Catnip not only can make your kitties act funny, but it's also really medicinal for you, kind of the same way. Not as intense though, but I love having some catnip on hand. This is in the mint family, so it has to be contained, otherwise it will completely take over. It also has really pretty flowers when it does flower. They're small and white, but they just look delicate and pretty. I grew this a couple years ago and it did great. Last year I didn't even try. Usually mint will overwinter just fine in my area, but I think it just got so dry that the plants couldn't survive. So we're gonna plant this again in a container. I have chives here I'm going to plant. I haven't planted chives in quite some time. This seed packet is from 2016, so we'll see how it does. But I thought it would be nice to have some chives out there to take. This will also have to be in a container, otherwise they will take over your space. We'll figure out where we're going to put these. I have flat leaf parsley. Parsley comes back every single year for us, but I don't feel like I have enough to sustain as much as we use it. So I'm going to plant a few more plants of parsley this year. I have two different types of oregano. I have your basic Greek oregano, and then I have this wild za'atar oregano. Both of these do really well in my area. Again, they seem to overwinter just fine. Well, this one I started last year. I shouldn't say it overwinters just fine because I don't know yet. This one does. It comes back every year. It dies off in the fall, early winter, but it comes back the next year, no problem. This one I haven't had for more than a year, but during the summer it did fantastic. So I'm hoping that it will join its Greek friend over here and come back. But regardless, we're going to start a few additional plants because I really liked them and I want to have more. These are also plants that I have already tried. Marjoram I added to my garden last year and it did great, so we're going to add a bit more this year. We'll see if the marjoram that I planted last year comes back like my thyme and my oregano do, but I suspect it probably will, and I want a couple more plants of marjoram. Common thyme, the thyme that I have in my garden, I bought as plant starts from just my local big box Kroger store. But we're going to start some from seed to make sure that we have enough, because I really want to up my herb game this year. Orange yellow thyme is something I tried last year and it did surprisingly well. Like, I was really impressed. And in fact, as far as the herbs go that are out in my garden right now, this one is one of the only herbs out there that I have that is still going strong. Even through our freezes and our snow, this didn't seem to get affected at all. It did really great. So we're going to add a few more plants of this. Plus, it was quite tasty. So never hurts to have even more. Tarragon is usually something that I get from my local big box store or nursery. I've never started it from seed before, but I have developed a love for using tarragon in some dishes. It really seems to go really well with like chicken dishes. We're going to try it from seed this time, so I don't have to buy starts. Sage, I have one plant out there that I know of that has come back year after year. Not that long ago, I was out in my front yard and I noticed that it was coming back again for this year, which is awesome. Sage is a member of the mint family, so it's pervasive, it is invasive. This will be another container herb. Dill is something I'm adding for the first time this year. I've never actually grown this myself, but I've heard it's supposed to be pretty easy and it lasts a long time, so it will probably still be going quite a long time after I really need it. But I am hoping to make some pickles this year, so I thought it would be really good to try to grow my own dill. Last but not least, here I have basil. I have so many different types of basil. Some I've tried before and some I haven't. Sweet basil and Thai basil are both staples in my garden. I grow them every year. I absolutely love them. So they are once again going to find a place in my garden. I have these seeds, Tulsi basil. This is a basil that has a lot of herbal and medicinal properties to it. I've grown it before. We're going to grow it again. I'm very excited to have this back in the garden. Cinnamon basil I grew last year and I had mixed success with it. Some did really well and some didn't do quite as well. I can tell you the slugs really liked it, which was part of my problem. So we're going to try this again. Hopefully get a little better harvest. The rest of these are going to be new to me basil varieties. I got this piccolino basil because I thought it was the cutest little thing, and it grows super tiny, so I might even just keep this in my kitchen and grow it in a pot. in my windowsill because it says that it's perfect for small pots and fairy gardens, and you can easily keep this in the windowsill of your house. So I think I might try that and just see how it goes. I also added Siam Queen and Blue Spice basil this year. I'm gonna try this African Nunum basil. This basil says that it just says it comes from the tropics, subtropics. It is grown in Ghana. It's used in salads, soups, pastas, vinegars, and jellies. I've never tried it, so I thought, why not give it a shot? Siam Queen basil is supposed to be really good in Thai recipes right alongside the Thai basil, so we'll see what the difference is. What the difference is, if there is any difference between the taste. I just kind of wanted to see, kind of compare and see if there was a difference and if I liked one better than the other. Blue Spice basil is supposed to have a strong spicy aroma with vanilla undertones. It makes it a delicious addition to fruit salad and savory dishes. This I think is going to be really good. One thing I really want to do this year is to get into drinking basil tea. I learned about this from Roots and Refuge. I watched one of her videos where she had a guest on there that taught everyone in the video how to make basil tea, and it looked amazing. So part of my expansion of basil this year is to try all of these varieties as basil tea and see which ones I really like. That is my purpose with this one, and that is also my purpose with these, lemon basil and lime basil. As specified, they each have, you know, a lime or a lemon undertone to them that I think would be not only amazing in cooking but also as a tea. So I'm really excited to give these a try and see how they turn out. That is it. I am pretty set on all of my vegetables, but I have not committed myself to not expand my herb and my flower selection this year. But I have to keep in mind I only have so much space. So we'll kind of see how this goes and kind of plan it out and see how much space these are going to take up, and then see if it might be even feasible to add more, because it might not be. Thank you for joining me today on my flower and herb seed haul. I hope you got some good ideas and maybe learned of a few new varieties you hadn't thought of. I hope you give them a try. And more than anything, I hope you have a very successful 2023 garden season. Or if you're watching this in a different year, I hope you have an amazing garden season in whatever year you're in. If you like this video, please hit the like button and make sure that you hit subscribe. And if you hit the bell right next to subscribe, you'll get a notification when I upload my next video. As we're going to be starting all of these seeds together, we're going to be growing them together, and we're going to be harvesting them together. So stick around for the journey, see how they all do. I'm sure we'll have some great successes and probably some pretty spectacular failures, but there's no better way to learn. So I hope you join me. Please subscribe and let's learn together. I will see you in my next video.